As the final buzzer sounded on the Pistons' 2023 season, two die-hard fans, Mickey and Harry, each passed out and witnessed a vision. They were visited by Detroit's very own mascot, Hooper, the stallion ablaze, who told them the only way the Pistons would ever win a championship again was if these two men started a podcast. To be clear, they said, do we really have to do this? I mean, aren't there enough Pistons podcasts already? It seems like this might be overkill. But Hooper dunked on them, right in their face, and said, your team needs you. He presented them with a prophecy. Now it is their duty to help Detroit rise again and become champions. The Order of the Blazing Horse. Welcome back to another special fun episode of The Order of the Blazing Horse, the only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those prophets, Harry Morrows, joined as always by my good bud, my co-prof from the West Coast,
Mickey Jacobs. What's going on, Harry? How are you? Anything new in your life right now?
Anything, fun stuff. Just fresh off a Pistons 8-game win streak that I was at live. So sick. The energy was insane. Met Laz Jackson, met Pistons Jack. Shout out to them. My brothers and my dad came to the game. My voice is on the way out right now. Today's my birthday. On top of it, what a birthday gift. So fun stuff. It was amazing. Tell me about how you're doing though, Mickey.
I'm okay. No, I'm at peak juice levels right now. First of all, peak juice. Happy birthday, Harry.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday, buddy. I can't think of a more perfect gift for you than the Pistons to notch their first 8-game win streak since the 07-08 season.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
To quote Timberland, it's been a long time.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I'm rocking the headband and headband Mickey. I was trying to think about like what that means, like what in terms of juice levels, like what that signifies. I think headband Mickey is like if Mask Rick Hamilton, Hoodie Mello, and Sleeve AI had a sort of a three-way basketball baby.
I like all that.
Who was white for some reason, and that's me, and that's where I'm at. I'm beyond stoked. I'm getting texts from friends who don't care about the Pistons at all, just being like, "Whoa, what's going on in Detroit?" And I'm like, "It's happening."
They don't know.
Happening. That's what's going
they don't
on.
know.
It's all happening.
Oh my God, it's so much is happening. I'm happy that the headband is out because the juice is up. You got that's to keep the juice out of your brow, right?
Yeah, it's sopping up there. You don't even want to know. This thing is drenched with juice right now.
Oh my God. The Pistons right now are drenched with juice. The 8-game win streak is insane. A lot of people were saying like, oh, they're playing easy teams. Then they beat the Clippers. And they're like, okay, we'll see how it goes against the Boston Celtics. And they beat the snot out of the Boston Celtics from jump. Yeah, Boston was missing a lot of shots up front. You know why? Because the Pistons were all up in their business. The Pistons were counting their nose hairs up there. It was a game from the get-go that Detroit was saying, you ain't it up top. You ain't feeling it. And Boston was, at that point, one of the hottest teams in the league. They were just coming off a fresh, dominant game against who? It was against New York, I think. They smacked New York around a whole bunch. Maybe they played somebody before then. I'm not entirely sure. But, to come to Detroit and to get beat by 20 points. And I want to say, I'm seeing people on, some pundits saying, oh, Boston was shorthanded. And on YouTube, it's like Boston was shorthanded. Boston was missing Jaylen Brown. Boston was missing Luke Cornett. Detroit was missing Jaden Ivey. That's the second best offensive player on both teams. Detroit was missing Dennis Schroeder, their backup point guard. Detroit was missing Simone Fontecchio. They were missing more rotational players. So don't give me the shorthanded business. They beat a loaded up team from Boston. A lot of Boston fans in the stands. Watching them get out of the arena with 5 minutes left, it was insane. It was like in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, when you were watching, shout out Bryce, big fan of Harry Potter, right? But like watching
Nimbus,
the Nimbus 2000, watching the basilisk slither through the giant tunnels. That's what this wave of crappy green clad can't wait for St. Patrick's Day shamrock sniffing basketball fans, because none of that's derogatory. But like
respectfully, get them.
None of them stuck around. They all knew it was over. It was insane watching Boston hit 9 3-pointers in a row, and all they could do was tie the game. They couldn't even take the lead when you're shooting that hot. That's embarrassing, son.
Yeah, I had the Boston broadcast, and don't worry about how. But they were even saying I think at the half, they were like, I feel like we're down 20, even though they had just tied the game. And shout out to the Pistons for not being daunted by that run. Mm-hmm. Runs are going to happen. And, a season ago, even months ago, I think Boston would have drained those threes and they would have felt a little smacked and a little flustered. But we wrote about it in the DFGs. Poise, trust, chemistry, like all of that stuff is up, and just buy-in. The defensive buy-in, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like I read this somewhere, number 1 defense in the league over this 8-game win streak.
That is correct. Number 1.
That is who we are.
Defense in the league.
Yeah, that is, I mean, like, I don't know what to say other than that, like, JB told us in his introductory press conference that, come February, come March, you should be able to turn on the TV and see Pistons basketball. And it is crazy. And speaking of which, there should be more Pistons games on TV. Why
are there not? From the start of the season, even the ones they've lost, it has been exciting. Remember when we put up that montage of all the final last second games that they lost? By the way, without those two insane buzzer beaters from the Hawks and from Cleveland, the Pistons could be on a 11-game win streak right now, or a 12-game win streak, something wild like that. It's been A+ tip-top entertainment to watch the Pistons play basketball. And is anybody more entertaining in the league right now than watching Ausar Thompson, man? Like, his 2-minute stint, or I guess, it was 2 minutes guarding Jason Tatum at the end of that first quarter, 4 steals.
Clinic.
Insane crazy.
It was so nuts. I was watching part of the game with Ann, and when he went down, I was just like, he is so important to this team. Like, he cannot be like, no, not him. But
he super important.
Sounds like it's just a cramp. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm. Thank goodness for that. He was doing well enough to lift up the belt after the game. He was given the belt after this game, which was so exciting. He's very important. Also very important, Christopher Tolliver and Dennis Meyer, our newest subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. Our subscriber goal is not updating for whatever reason on the stream. I'll take care of it eventually, but we're at 55 right now. So if you can, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, turn on your notifications so you know when we're coming at your face. Go ahead, Mickey. Tell them what's up.
Well, what we're trying to do here, and it's getting hard because Malik Beasley keeps just banging threes, but we're trying to have as many subscribers as Beasley has made threes by the end of the season. Help us out. Tell a friend. If you like Pistons, if you like fun, if you like to laugh, follow us, subscribe to us. Give us a comment. Interact with us. We want to talk to you. We want to hear from you.
Mm-hmm. Hit that like and subscribe button harder than Ausar hit Jason Tatum with the crossover last night.
That's pretty hard.
Bambi skates, son. And I know I said, is anyone more? It's just so funny. It was so funny, watching that go down. The crowd was losing their mind. I've never heard that much energy at LCA before. I'm sure that it has happened, but I haven't heard it. And it was unreal. And I know they have a dance team and they have an extreme team to get people hyped up. Sometimes they have the chin balancing ladder guy there to hype people up. Nobody hypes the crowd up more than Malik Beasley. My God, man, what a show he puts on. The draining of the threes, the slams, and then the playing up
to the crowd is crazy. The celebrations are crazy. I don't know if it showed it on the broadcast, but when Ausar busted Tatum's ass, afterward, Tatum was complaining that he got fouled or something, and he's going up to the ref and like talking about it or complaining about the foul that got called, and Beasley's behind him like mocking him for falling, like going like this. So friggin' funny. My God, man. I can't imagine a better signing for the Detroit Pistons than Malik Beasley. He's shooting, I think, the highest percentage of people shooting 11 three-point shot attempts per 36 or something.
Yeah.
It's wild. 42%.
Only he and Curry.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Oh, my God. Anybody else you want to shout out from the game? Because there are some other pretty good performances.
Yeah. There are people I want to shout out from the game. And it's difficult or easy depending on how you look at it because it's everybody. It's not just one. It's immediately my head goes to Tobias. So steady, so clutch, so efficient, really amazing defensive game. I think 3 stocks, just him, like 50% from deep and like crazy efficient from the field. Tim Hardaway Jr. was a dog.
Love me some Timmy.
Oh my God, Sasser deserves flowers because I was worried because of just what a great job the Dennis Schroeder has been doing running the second unit. Sasser was clutch, and he hit a couple big, timely threes to just break the Celtics spirit.
Bro,
who else? Who am I missing?
I want to say on Sasser, I watched him, and I'd been begging him to do this earlier this season, but I watched him hit a 3 over Porzingis, and then he gave Porzingis the too small celebration. That is prime time. Marcus Splasher, welcome to the game. So sick. Dog on D, dog on the O. So happy he's getting these minutes when Schroeder's down.
To your point, is that not like Malik Beasley influence? Like, I'm not saying Sasser doesn't have his own dog in him, but like this wrestling like style taunting and just like hey, according to Cade Cunningham, Beasley's the best trash talker in the league.
That's right.
So,
man, why don't you talk a little bit about your boy Ron Holland? I know you love you some Ron Holland, and that was some awesome finishing he had in that game.
Yeah, his touch is unbelievable. Like, and his instincts and just his timing. The shot's not been great. Like the 3 ball's not been great, but he just finds ways to be impactful. And I think that's like just the whole team, right? Like sometimes certain things aren't working. Sometimes Cade's shot isn't falling. Sometimes, the vets are having a slow night. Everybody steps up and like fills the need. And I don't know, I feel like trends that used to get in our way, like, can't guard stretch bigs. We're going to just completely get shut out by like Porzingis or like your Miles Turners or your Brook Lopez's. We are figuring it out.
Duran was out there. He was putting the effort out there on the stark difference from where he was last time we played against the Celtics. And it's not like he was an A+ defender last night, but he was good enough, and he was making it hard for them to get open looks. The only guys who were like really getting kind of open looks were Peyton Pritchard, pretty much off transition threes. Like a lot of his were in transition that he was hitting. And he didn't win the 6th Man of the Year battle. He certainly didn't win the 6th Man of the Year battle last night. Beasley,
oh my God.
Oh my Lord. The rebound he got over him, just like he stole it from him on top of it. Just so
the
sick.
Stare down afterwards. The stare down, and then he hit a 3 right in his face and hit the 2 small.
Oh man,
wow.
That game, like truly that game, that matchup specifically might shift votes to him for the 6th Man of the Year. I think we have some serious awards coming our way at the end of the season if things continue the way that they're going right now. Which, wow, we haven't given a shout out to Beef Stew, who is keeping people out of the lane. You cannot drive on Beef Stew. I don't know why teams keep doing it. Like, have they not seen tape?
I don't know. And just like the way that he guarded Zoo against the Clippers too, like he has really figured out how to be effective and contest in the post, contest at the rim. Like he is just like, and I feel like half the time too, when he gets a stop, they also get the ball. Like, or they also, like, it's not just like swatting it out of bounds or whatever. Like he's so effective. And I also think he deserves a huge shout out for being level.
Yeah.
I was a little worried about Eubanks. not getting cooked by Eubanks, but just, players that make Stu's blood boil, or guys that he has like a little past with. And he, I think, realizes just the impact that he has for this team and knows that like he's of the most value when he's on the floor. Like there's absolutely a time for, rattling people and getting a little chippy, but kudos to him for dialing it back a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, part of it too has to be because they're kicking teams' asses right now. Like, it would be one thing if they like just eked out this win, but they beat the hell out of them, like straight up. Can we talk about points in the paint? Like 62-20, 62-20. They had the tallest guy on the court by a good 6 inches. And they managed to, I think they had 4 or 5 offensive rebounds the entire game. That's nuts, son. We haven't even talked about Cade Cunningham. We haven't mentioned Cade Cunningham in this game, who dropped another 20-point, double-digit assist, double-double. Well, obviously,
I thought it was kind of a mad game for Cade. I thought that 20 and 11 double-double was just, I don't know. I guess it was just kind of like old hat.
It's so crazy that's where we're at with him. That like,
I'm joking, but it's like it wasn't the most memorable Cade game, and he still is like more effective than so many players in this league.
It's nuts, and I think that one thing we have to recognize about Cade Cunningham's game is outside of the leadership, outside of the crazy scoring, outside of the actual assists, and the defensive statement points, because he has been good defensively. He's been putting up the stocks. He's been putting the blocks. He's been getting his body up there, moving along on the perimeter. It's been great. His impact is so much greater than all that, because whenever he has the ball, everybody is thinking about, we can't give it the shot, and who is he going to pass it to? And that means you have 5 guys on the floor who most likely someone's going to make a mistake because they're overthinking it. And number 2 is going to find that and take advantage of it. And he always does. I was talking to someone a little bit off stream about this, like where it's hard to talk about Cade and like what level of player he is, like when it comes to like where he ranks in the league, because we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet. We don't know how he's going to be in the playoffs yet. My theory about Cade in the playoffs is it's going to be exactly like it is right now, because he's already getting double teamed from full court. Like, what else are you going to do to him? The teams are already playing him like he is the guy in the playoffs, and they cannot stop this man.
Yeah, you have some of the best defenders in the league, and sometimes he just eats their lunch, and it's not even really bothering him. Like OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, even Dyson Daniels this last time around.
This last couple against Dyson.
I fear Dyson Daniels. Like, I'll admit that. But it's actually like, we talked a lot like weeks and months ago about Cade needs help. Cade needs like a secondary handler. He needs like a number 2 option. He needs someone to take the pressure off. Maybe it's a really good thing that he didn't have that until the deadline. And the player that we got after the deadline is someone who, first of all, is steady as hell. Mm-hmm. And second of all, didn't break the bank for the Pistons. Because going into a postseason, to your point, Cade will have seen every sort of defense. He's seen the full court Andrew Nembhard press. He's seen the Dyson Daniels, like, hands up in your grill. Just like, I think he's gotten really good of passing out of double teams. And I think his other options his weapons have gotten really good at knowing how to, like, Duren just like knows his spatial awareness and his knowing where to be, and just his passing vision too have been a revelation.
I think that's exactly right. Like, I think I put this in somewhere in writing, but like, I'm almost at the mindset now where Duren's ability to play make and to read the floor is more beneficial to this team than his ability to space the floor, because of those Cade Cunningham double teams and traps. Because when Cade traps, if you have Duren like trying to set a pick for him or like in that area, Cade can give it up to Duren, who can then give it to Ausar, who is wide open slashing. And all 3 of those guys right now, it felt like Duren was taking a little while to operate in this level, but now they're all operating on this crazy cerebral level of being able to read the floor, hit the spacing, nowhere to be, nowhere to go. Ron's picking up on it. Ron's passing is getting way better. With every passing game, you get to see him make these moves. Tobias is pretty good at hitting those slashes and knowing where to be. Tim Hardaway Jr. is getting open on the perimeter. This team is so well orchestrated and designed. It's unbelievable right now.
Yeah. Ron's cutting really well too. I mean, he's always cut really well, but just the chemistry that you're seeing, they're gelling so hard right now.
So hard.
And especially when you think about the fact that I still don't think Ausar is at 100%.
I mean, obviously not. He's cramping playing 20 minutes a game.
Right. And just the miss dunks, the stuff at the rim, and just certain little things there where you're like, there's still a little bit of dust. There's still a little bit of cobwebs. And with that in mind, other broadcasters can't stop talking about it. Opposing teams are just like, he's a problem.
Yeah.
He's an absolute problem. And I think another thing I'm excited for, as the all defensive talks start to heat up, I think he's going to get a better reverse whistle. You know how Draymond Green gets away with playing way more aggressive D because of his reputation. I think Ausar is really carving that out for himself. You saw it with Cade on the other end of the floor, but I think Ausar I think there was that contest he had against Tatum that Tatum hit that led to the and one.
Mm-hmm.
Even Boston broadcasters were like, I don't know if that was a foul.
Yo, dude, first of all, it was not a foul. And the whistle for Boston, it was so obvious. They were trying to keep Boston in that game from the get-go until it got to about 7 minutes left in the game where it was it's over, and then Detroit started getting some free throws and the foul calls their way. But that first steal that Ausar got that turned into a slam for Duren, he got hit hard on the arm with holding the ball hard on the arm going up. Tobias got teched up because he was getting fouled
the no call.
Crazy. And they weren't. Yeah. One of them was when you go up for a pump fake, a guy jumps into you, and you jump straight up, get hit, and hit the shot. That's a foul every time, no matter who you are. And the Pistons didn't get it. It's just too much. It is too much to not get these. And then to see Tatum get that foul that was absolutely not a foul, not even close to a foul. They kept showing the replay, and people were losing their mind. Watching this go down. I can't believe that referee made it to his car all right. I'm happy he did because I don't condone violence, but I'm just surprised. I mean, who knows? Maybe everyone was just way too high off the wind from the game, but
floating.
Detroit has arrived. Stephen A. Smith called Detroit a contender. He said he doesn't want them to face the Knicks because he's afraid of the Knicks getting a first-round exit. It's nuts, dude.
Oh, keep it coming. I love it so much. And he should be afraid because that's what I want. Mm-hmm. I really want to see the Knicks in the first round. I mean, look, if they play themselves into the 5th or 4th seed, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, maybe we're winning too much.
I would love to see them play the Knicks, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, I want them to get home court advantage so more fans can see them play more games in the playoffs because the atmosphere was wild. And watching these players feast off that atmosphere, I cannot wait to see when they get to do that for the first time in Cade's career, in most of these young players' careers, not in Beasley's, not in Schroeder's career, but it's going to happen. And someone hit us up on Blue Sky and was saying, hey, my buddy Jeff hit us up on Blue Sky. What do you think about potentially Kevin Durant coming to the Pistons? Because that would be a great matchup with Cade. And you know me, I've been pitching the Kevin Durant to the Pistons hype for a while, especially because he's on an expiring, he's older, it wouldn't cost as much as some other stars would. Right now, I don't want to see them give up anybody. I want this team to stay as it is. They're only going to get better. They're only going to grow. And a lot of what the comparisons for the Pistons right now the comparisons the Pistons have been getting lately are who? Oklahoma City Thunder, the Memphis Grizzlies, and I guess Houston as well. But teams that built their team from the draft. That's essentially what Boston did as well. And these teams are really getting with success. The teams that chase big stars in the trade, let's talk about New York for a second. They trade away all their assets. They got Bridges. They've got the Cat. Thank you. That's the name I was looking for. And how's their defense been this last month? Like the worst.
I don't
in the
think
NBA.
It's been good.
It's like the worst in the NBA.
Wow.
They got OG Anunoby, who's been brutal for them lately. And yeah, they're still winning games. They're still doing all right. But like, are they doing that much better than the Pistons? I say no. And the Pistons are younger and fresher. They're not playing guys that many minutes. Again, we have two of the best defensive players in the league, and they're not playing 25 minutes a game. This is going to be a fresh legs team. Let them grow. Let this chemistry build. Why would you want to break up the chemistry at this point? I cannot believe how different a place I am in from where I was 11 weeks ago, Mickey.
Run it back. I'm so with you. I don't want to chip shove on a short-term move that, like, even if we're able to like recover from it once KD retires theoretically, but I'm with you. I don't really want to mess up a good thing, especially when that good thing is so emblematic of Pistons culture when it comes to defense, hard-nosed players buying in and just playing for each other. Because I really think that those intangibles are so, and don't get me wrong, the tangibles are great too. The defense is great. The shoot, like, people, you're worried like, okay, well, what if Beasley doesn't have like shoot great in the playoffs? I bet you THJ will. Other guys can
Tobias
step up.
will.
Like, they're really good about.
Maybe Ivy's back, dude, and he was shooting 41% from three. Like,
yeah, I'm such a believer in the vibes, and I think that's what made New York so fun last season was the Villanova thing. And look, 3 out of 4 Villanova players ain't bad, but it definitely threw off the whole vibe of the team, and it sacrificed their depth. And they're not so young and fresh that they can afford to be that thin.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this Pistons team has depth. They have a lot of options that they can go with. I think they're 10th in the league defensively on the season now, which is nuts. They're top 15 in offense. Their offense has been crazy, scoring the most points in 41 years in regulation for this team. Not since the Bad Boys have we seen 148 points put up in regulation. The Keith Black Trudeau shared a clip on Blue Sky the other day, and I legitimately thought it was the Pistons from the night before, but it was from like 1980 or something like that. It's just, this team is just playing so hot, so good, so fun, so entertainment, so entertaining. It's unreal. It brings a tear to my eye.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And shout out Sean Windsor and his dulcet tones on the Pistons Pulse. I love Sean Windsor's voice, but I also love his insights as well. And he was saying that they remind him, this Pistons team reminds him more of the Bad Boys than the going to work guys. And it's so cool. It's so cool to hear.
It's like a combination of the two because they have the like the talent and the explosiveness and like just the ability to score at will with like a true star in Cade Cunningham on their team, but they also have the team cohesiveness that the going to work Pistons did because that's how the going to work Pistons won. It was chemistry. It was like the best assembled team, the best five alive, right? That it's because they were able to do every aspect of the game properly with some superstars in those areas. Like Ben Wallace is a superstar, but he's not like a scorer or anything, but he's a defensive superstar. And like, it's just nice to have a team to feel this good about. And I don't want to take credit for it necessarily. I don't know if you want to take credit for it like necessarily, but like you heard the intro to this podcast. You heard what was said. You heard what Hooper said. Hooper made a promise to us, and it was foretold. I didn't think it would be this quick.
Yeah, you don't want to have hubris, and you don't want to take premature victory laps. But if you just look at the timeline, let's just talk about the timeline really quick. When we started this podcast, the Pistons had set the record for longest loss streak in the history of the league. And now Stephen A. Smith is calling them a contender. So I'm not a math guy, but I think that speaks volumes in terms of maybe we had something to do with it. Maybe not. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments. Take this opportunity, like, subscribe, tell a friend, comment, engage with us, ring the bell for notifications. We want to, the journey's not over. Just because the Pistons have turned it around, this is far from over. So we are just getting started. And you still have an opportunity to get in on the ground floor of this era of Pistons and the Order of the Blazing Horse. So come one, come all, always seeking new members. Corbin in the chat, validating our impact.
What up, Doe? And also,
love to hear it. Love to have you.
Shout out to Corbin. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Corbin. Great dude.
It's everybody's birthday today, but it's amazing. Happy birthday, Corbin.
Yeah, happy birthday, Corbin, indeed. What a guy. Wonderful stuff.
It's cute that y'all have the same birthday.
I know. It's our birthday history is pretty wild, for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
That sounds like a story for another podcast.
For another time. I actually haven't known Corbin and Corbin's one of my best friends, and you're one of my best friends too. I haven't known either of you. I didn't know either of you back when the Pistons last won. To 8 games in a row. It's been 17 years.
It's a long time ago.
NC 17. It was not safe for children to watch the Pistons for the last 17 years.
Yeah. I was 16 years old at the time.
I didn't know that. That's really young, man.
0708? Yeah.
16 years old.
Say sophomore, junior in high school.
Mm-hmm. Just got your license. I had a drinking problem. I was like fresh out of college, freshly dealing with a breakup and my parents' divorce. I was boozing it up for sure. So that was that for me. What's some other stuff? Like if you saw the last Pistons win streak, chances are maybe you missed it because you were sitting at home on the couch waiting for Grand Theft Auto 4 on the PlayStation 3 to come out.
Yeah. Or maybe you were getting your hands on, if you were rich, I was not, I did not have access to this, but if you were getting your hands on the first iPhone, first ever iPhone.
My friend
came out in 07, I think. So that's the OG.
the O phone. the OIG.
OG phone.
I was still texting using T9. And guess what? I was still paying for texts and minutes at the time.
Oh no.
That's how long ago
this was next level.
It was an art form, T9.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll bet you were quick too with the thumbs.
I was not. I was very poor. I was a bad texter. No one knew what I was talking about. I was the guy who would call everybody and they'd be like, "Just text." I'd be like, "I don't have any texts left," and I did. I just couldn't text. It was not in my skill set. Still isn't. You'll get a call from me. Deal with it. 2008. What else happened for you in 2000? I know you weren't distracted by butts online because Instagram wasn't even invented yet. So you couldn't even be distracted by butts.
There was no Instagram. And, speaking of butts, I don't think I'd had any sex. I think I was very much a virgin in 07. So, but
I won't make the same claim, but I will make the same claim at your age. So that's fair. I think.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one was getting with 4'9", 16-year-old, 90-pound cross-country dropout Harry, I think. What about you, Mickey? Why were the ladies hitting that?
I don't know. I think they were probably intimidated by my junior varsity water polo acumen. I think it was just a little too much for the ladies at the time. And it also could have had something to do with the braces. That didn't help the case much. And by the way, I don't know if I was 4 foot. You're also much taller than me currently,
Yeah.
significantly taller than me. I don't think I was 4'9", but I was not much higher than that.
We were baby butter boys back then. Little baby butter boys.
Very much so.
Plus, the ladies, they were too busy dancing to the number one song in the country when the Pistons last won 8 games in a row, Low by Flo Rida.
Hell yeah.
What a jam.
That takes me back. That's going back to like high school dances and people grinding.
Dude.
Freaking.
A lot of freaking.
Yeah.
Were you grinding and freaking? Were people doing that with you?
I was trying.
You trying?
I was trying to mix it up a little bit, Get up in there and be like, oh, nope. Okay.
You could have taken a girl on a date, or whoever you were interested in on a date out there. You could have made doing that, and maybe that's why you missed the Pistons' 8-game win streak last time they had it, because you were busy watching Fool's Gold at an AMC theater.
With Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah.
I definitely saw that movie. I don't know if I saw it in theaters. Certainly not on a date, but I definitely have seen that movie at some point.
I love that movie. I'm not gonna lie. I really do like it. Kevin Hart's in it. He plays the villain in it, which is insane.
Must have been a young Kevin Hart.
Young Kevin Hart, not yet complaining about 3-point shooting in the NBA All-Star game. Kevin Hart. But yeah, it was it was a fun movie. I am a sucker for treasure hunts and the waters, and I like rom-coms, I'll admit it. So those are things going on for me.
Yeah. Obama had just been elected.
The country still had hope.
Yeah. Yep. I remember the posters, the hope posters.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a recession.
So I guess not that much is different.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Well, I will say, not to get political, but I'm pretty sure right around then Donald Trump was saying that he thought that Bill Clinton was a great president and Hillary was at the very least a fantastic senator. So that's changed.
Yeah, it's wild how you can say one thing one day and it never happened the other day. But whatever, as far as
hit a 180 on that.
It's not. Thank God it's not 2008 anymore. Well, I mean, something. Maybe I wish it was 2000. Maybe we could go rewind and whatnot. Maybe the Pistons are trying to take back the clock because they've been playing such friggin' great ball. Unfortunately, the team they're coming up against tomorrow night is also playing great ball, and that is the Denver Nuggets, who themselves were just on a 9-game win streak. They are 7-1 in their last 8. They're only lost in their last 10 games is 2 games ago against the Lakers when LeBron and Luka and Austin Reeves all went off, and it sounds like Jared Vanderbilt really held Jokic down. But other than that, they've been tearing it up. And on the season, Denver is the number 1 field goal percentage team in the league. They're 3rd in 3-point percentage. They're 1st in fast break points. Pistons are number 2 in fast break points. So that should be a very fun game. But in these last, I got to read some stats off to you for their in the last 8-game stretch that we've had. So Pistons are 8-0, Nuggets are 7-1. Pistons have 16.6 second chance points. Nuggets have 15.6. Pistons have 23.1 fast break points. The Nuggets are 20.6. Is this the right thing I was looking for? There's one that had some. Okay, I'll go to the more traditional stuff over here. So points per game. This is in the last 8. Points per game. Pistons 124, Nuggets 126. Field goal percentage. Pistons 51, Nuggets 53. 3-point field goal percentage. Pistons 35, Nuggets 34. Rebounding. Pistons 48.9, Nuggets 49.0. Turnovers. Pistons 15.3. Nuggets 14.9. The big difference between these two teams in this game stretch is the Pistons are averaging 9.6 steals to the Nuggets 7.4 and 5.1 blocks to the Nuggets 3.6. Their defense has been smothering. It has been insane. It has been intense. And before you get up in my grill about, the Pistons just played bad teams, the Nuggets have also only played bad teams. Arguably worse teams, I would say. Let me pull up their win streak. So in their last 8 games that we're going over, they just played the Indiana Pacers, beat them 125-116. That's great. Then they got blown out by the Lakers, 123-100. Those other games, Charlotte, Portland, Phoenix, Orlando, New Orleans, Charlotte, Philadelphia. That's very similar.
That is a worse stretch.
Right?
One thing I will say is that Portland has been playing better.
They have been playing better. I'm
but
happy for them too. Shout out to Shaedon Sharpe for that dunk last night. Oh my God.
He's been a highlight reel.
Oh yeah. He's a fun player.
Crazy.
I'm really happy. Congrats to Chauncey. Great job out there. The team is turning around a little bit. I am excited for that young team. I'm excited when young teams start to turn things around. Obviously, like, we're living through it right now. So one thing to pay attention to with that Denver game is Denver is playing Milwaukee tonight. I don't think it started yet. It'll start in about 20 minutes. They're playing Milwaukee. So they'll be on the back end of a back-to-back. Well, the Pistons will be rested. And not just rested from one game, but rested from resting their players halfway through the fourth quarter last game. This team is looking hot. I'm so geeked.
I just want to say, I don't want to get off the Nuggets, but I could not believe how quickly the Celtics waved the white flag.
Unbelievable.
There was like 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth. I think they were down 15. But, I mean, I guess shout out Missoula for, I mean, first of all, they can afford the L.
Yeah.
Standings-wise, it's not like a huge issue. But it's like, we lost this game. Like, we lost it. Like, we can battle this out and try to, bang in 9 more threes. But
it would have been tough.
We don't deserve this win right now, whether, the Pistons choke or not. And, man, the Pistons didn't choke. I love, because, sometimes when, like the third stringers come in, and like maybe the lead shrinks a little bit just because, the personnel is not what the game really was. But this was still a 20-point dub.
It was nuts.
It was a blowout. It wasn't a win. It was a blowout.
It was a blowout. And it seemed like Missoula, he wanted to take his players up first, and then they gave him like one more possession to try to get it close from like 16 points closer. And then they didn't score, and the Pistons did. And it was like an 18, 19-point game at that point. And then, pull him. Goodbye. Good night, Irene. That is the end. Lindy Waters hit a 3 against you. It's done. It's over.
Lindy Waters was wet.
He did. He dipped in a little bit. So we're going from Jason Tatum, who I think Cade Cunningham is better than. I'll say it. I think he's a more. We just talked about how Cade's bad game was 20 and 12. I think we talked about this a little bit on air. Tatum can disappear sometimes. He can be great, but he can disappear sometimes. Cade does not disappear. Cade is always there. He's not the elephant in the room. He is the room. It is impossible to get rid of him. However, against Denver, we're going against probably the best player in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? Like, do you double Jokic, or do you kind of let him have his way and make him win the game on his own? Or is it just more like, take what the defense gives you and play it how you play everything else?
So I have two schools of thought on what could happen. I think you could either put Tobias on him like they did with Porzingis. They put Tobias on Porzingis. They seem to be doing that a fair share and letting like Duren handle the other big that's out there. Or I think what the Lakers did was put Vanderbilt on him. You could put Ausar on Jokic and just make his life like a pain in the ass completely. So we'll see. I still think Jokic is going to get his. You cannot let him get the 3-point opportunities he was getting last time he played because he's shooting like 45% from 3-point land. But
it's insane.
If you can stop Jokic, if you put all your focus on stopping Jokic and the rest of the team is playing defense the way they've been playing, you could probably get this game. And you're telling me that this team isn't hungry to get this revenge game? Denver put the brakes on their last win streak when they're on the road. They said, no, you cannot beat us in Denver. And they had Jamal Murray had his best night of the year. And that ended the high hopes of the Pistons, the first run the Pistons really had this year. You telling me Detroit doesn't want revenge on them? I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling hopeful about it at the very least. So what would you do to stop Jokic?
Yeah, I thought I think Ausar's the best defender we have by far, but I think what did Corbin say?
He said Corbin said you need a miniature Hooper mascot to distract him because he loves tiny horse racing.
He's got a type. And it's horses.
We're making that
really
meme.
Good idea.
Make a meme of Jokic looking at Hooper We'll figure that out. We'll pick it up.
Is it the meme of the guy and the girl walking and the guy?
Yeah, and then it's Hooper walking away. Yeah, this is the rest of the night. Yeah, that's great. Corbin, thank you for hooking us up with that. Mickey, wonderful.
You did it.
Great job.
But the only thing I would worry about with Ausar on Jokic is foul trouble.
Yes.
Just because he's so crafty and we need Ausar in the game. I thought Cade actually did a pretty admirable job on Kristaps in certain possessions. I thought Tobias did an admirable job. Even though Jokic isn't like such a crazy physical player, Stu, I think, is a guy you could absolutely put like he's really good at shutting down, like the Giannis's of the world when he's not like dragging them out of the air. But I think we have options. I would love, I think Ausar could be a help defender, but I just don't want to see him get like 3 to 4 fouls in the first half. That could really hamstring us.
I'm with you. I think you won me over a little bit with that. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see what JB Bickerstaff writes up and plans out for this game. Also, I wanted to bring up like two things before we like move into like our next segment. But like, is Trajan Langdon not just like a guy on like what was that show where you'd have like those storage units and they'd be like auctioning off storage wars. Is he not like somebody on Storage Wars? So he buys the unit and they open it up and it's just trophies and gems and all that stuff in it. He didn't even have to do all that much. He signed two dudes, Beasley and Harris, essentially.
Beasley, Harris, and
then he got
THJ.
JB. Did he make the THJ trade? Yeah, he did. That's right. So he got the 3 vets and he got the coach, which is great, but loaded with stuff on the way in, just sitting there. Yeah. And the other question I wanted to pose is when it comes to Cade, that article, the author of that on The Ringer, was it Mirren? You know the article I'm talking? You sent it to. You shared it.
Yeah.
With me as well.
What's her name? I thought it was a great piece. I have it.
It is by Mirren Fader or Marina Fader on The Ringer. They were talking. There's a lot of focus on Cade dealing with it last year. We went over a little bit of that on the hero's journey. Right. Do you think that Cade needed that season to be who he is? Do you think that Monty Williams was his like drum teacher from Whiplash, and that really got his Miles Teller game on?
Or the reverse of J.K. Simmons, where he just just never said no and just was like, I don't know, just keep doing what you're doing. Just like the least strict authoritarian. I don't know. I don't know if like going back, would you be like, I wouldn't change a thing, but like that's their story. Like that's their arc. Like that's their narrative right now. And I think that is part of why this is so enjoyable right now is because of how dark it got before the dawn. That's why the jerseys, the City Edition jerseys went from the darks to the light the very next season. Yeah, totally. I was thinking about this and I feel like, since they blew up the Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond trifecta.
Team?
Yeah, and even before that, like you could argue that the team has kind of been on pause. Like it's just been stagnant. It was like limbo. Like there wasn't really any forward progress. Like they got to the playoffs only to get swept. And then you could argue that the Monty year was like actually in rewind. And this year has felt like fast forward. Like everything's just been clicking so fast. Like it's crazy how few games Ausar has played and how well the chemistry. We just already talked about the chemistry gelling. But it's so rewarding. Yeah. And I just think it's so rewarding after what the Pistons dealt with last season, what the fans dealt with last season. I want to shout out real quick Keith B, who left a comment on one of our Drop Flop or Gyat recaps.
Shout out Keith B.
He said, I thought this was eloquent as hell. He goes, I liken it to a concert where the musicians gather around each other and feed off the communal energy versus standing on the far corners of the stage and playing notes. Isn't that beautiful? They're just like just a bunch of fucking rock stars.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Keith B. And thanks to everybody who's joined the Substack. Like, our numbers on Substack are going up. It's Order to the Blazing Horse. Substack. You know how to find it on Substack. And like on Blue Sky as well, followers going up. On YouTube, subscribers going up. Thank you so much, everybody, for like doing all that. Leave a comment. Send us a message. We'll give you the shout outs. We really appreciate you. And you're having as much fun as we are watching this team. There's no doubt in my mind that you are. You get to see the best player in the NBA one of the best players in the NBA on a regular basis. I'll hold myself back there. I will say.
How about the most impactful player to their team in the NBA? Like, I think far and away.
Yeah, I agree. And while I don't think he's better than Jokic, Cade's not better than Jokic necessarily, Mickey and I do think he's better than a lot of people. And you can bring him up in our next segment. Do I have this on here? I don't even have it up, but I'll find it real quick. Get me to it. Our next segment. It's the wrong thing. I already did the wrong thing. I'll cut to it.
I'm just gonna stall. Oh.
Into our next segment. Cade Better Than.
I love it. You were talking about Jason Tatum. Do you have anything more to add to that, or do you just do you want to go into that at all? Do you feel like we covered it? Because I think that alone I think is controversial to a lot of people. They consider him an MVP candidate just because of how much the Celtics have won. But you got thoughts? You got feelings?
I think like I was saying, I just think that he's always there. He's always impactful. He's always doing his thing, and I'm going to keep pushing this as far as the Cade Cunningham propaganda goes. He makes his teammates better. Almost nobody else does that. And like he's doing it on defense. They listen to him. They love him. He's always wanting to learn and to grow. He's always showing up. He takes responsibility. The man is a captain. The man is a leader, and he is a stat leader. His stat line of 26.5 points per game, 9.5 assists, maybe it's 26.3 points a game, 6.8 rebounds, 1 steal, 0.8 blocks per game. No one in the history of the NBA has had that stat line before. Not a single person.
Yeah. No, it's great. And there's so many, we're going to get into it. There's a lot more players that it's a lot more people we think he's better than, but it's just knowing how to use his gravity. And like you said, his just like style of play is contagious, and he makes everyone better. It's like in The Natural when Roy Hobbs starts rubbing off on everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's like the whole team is Roy Hobbs though. Like they are all so bought in. Tim Hardaway Jr.'s defense in the Clippers game, like I don't think people think about Tim Hardaway Jr. as like a huge stopper outside of maybe taking charges. He was vicious. Malik Beasley was nuts on Peyton Pritchard last night. Like you have guys, who are considered like one-dimensional. Oh, he's just a shooter. He's just a this. He's just a that. It is so cool to see the impact that his leadership has, especially, a lot of young players, I think have a lot of great qualities. I don't think they have that.
I truly don't. I think he is such a special, unique talent, and I thank Hooper every day that he is our guy.
Praise Hooper. Praised Hoop. Be to
Praise
Hooper.
Horse.
Praise Horse.
So, tell me, Mickey, is he better than Trae Young?
Yes, he is. And Trae Young is the assist leader in the league?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, sorry. Can I say one more thing about Tatum?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he settles. And, like, for threes. And I think he hits threes. He hits a lot of threes.
He hits a lot of threes.
But Cade, when his three ball isn't falling, he can score in so many other different ways or not score or get to the line. And when I was most afraid of watching Tatum last night, it was when he passed up a ball screen and just drove straight to the rim. Like, he is athletic and strong and capable, but I just feel like they've become such a like perimeter team, and they can all shoot. It's crazy. I understand the strategy, but I think Cade is more versatile. I think he can hit threes. I think he can. I really want to see him make some of these little bunnies that he's been missing, but the mid range, he is just a king.
And the handle, the fucking handle I did not think that was his game. And then this year, it has been, because I feel like in years past, I was like, oh, Cade hits the mid range. He's really good at that, and he's really good at like the baseline fadeaway and like the little. We all thought like the lefty reverse, that was like the signature Cade move. I haven't seen him do that move in weeks. Like, he is a like fake pass driver, an in and out dribbler, a spin like washing machine agitator.
The spin is so smooth.
It's incredible. Like I did not think he would be as smooth with the ball as he is, and to have vision and to have the handle, my God, man, it's just unreal. So I don't think Tatum has that stuff. He does shoot a lot of threes. He sells for threes, but whatever. A lot of people shoot threes. Trae Young shoots a lot of threes.
I can go to Trae. I just wanted to touch on that because I think if I was as great as the Celtics are, I find Tatum like a little frustrating, and I think that I don't think he has that leadership that Cade has. I don't think he means to his team what Cade means, and maybe it's just because they're all so good,
Potentially. Anyway, it's potentially that they do have a championship, and so it's like it's hard to like discount too much. I still think he's like a great player, but I'd take Cade over him any day
for sure. Trae does not have the defense. I love his edge. Like I'm a Trae Young fan.
Me too.
The way. I think the shots that he makes and that floater is so devastating. And I've heard him talk too, just about how being a smaller guy still towers over me, but being a smaller guy, he had to get the range that he has. And I'm also just really impressed by guards who have the vision that he does. And by the way, he's not 6'6", 6'7". Like, he's not seeing over the defenses in the way that Cade is, and he's still got great vision. But to me, with Cade, it's the leadership and it's the defense that sets him apart from Trae. The stocks and the rebounds, Trae can't touch it.
No.
And I think sometimes Trae, I haven't watched a ton of Hawks games, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but I feel like he'll get caught up complaining to refs or
Cade can do that too, to be fair.
Yep. More so lately, by the way, in fairness. But I just think all around between the leadership and the defense, Cade's got him beat.
It's the defense is too much. The defense and the rebounding, it's too much to overcome between the two.
Yep. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's go on next.
All right, I got one for you. Do you think Cade is better than Jalen Brunson?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry, New York Knicks fans. I know you love Jalen Brunson. I know think he's so great. I know he's super clutch, and he does a ton of good stuff, and he's super entertaining. I'm so happy that you got him. I'm so happy he's doing so well. I appreciate all that.
He's funny, too.
He is funny. He's a great player. He's a great personality.
Good leader, too, by the way.
Huh?
Good leader, too.
He's a good leader. Absolutely. Leadership through the roof. As we continue and proceed in this segment, the players are great. These are like stars, superstar players. Yeah. These are just players that I don't think are as good as Cade. And Brunson is one of those. We talked about Trae Young with the defense. When Brunson is out there, he is a defensive liability. He gets switched onto, and it is a problem for them. And he cannot guard like whoever's put. He's for sure not guarding Cade. There's no chance that happens. So there's your edge. And as much as like I think he's like a great shooter and like great passer and all that, he's not getting assists like Cade is. Even though he's got the stretch big on the squad, even though he's got Bridges on the squad, like the numbers aren't the same like that. He's got bigger names on his squad than Cade does. But the thing that like really I do make this as a negative for players, but if your major skill set is you get free throws, I don't like that. I don't love that as far as like thinking of you as a good player. I don't think being an actor makes you a better player. I think it makes you a fortunate player, but I certainly don't like watching it. And I cannot say that makes you a better player because you can like throw your head back and achieve more free points, uncontested points.
Yeah, I agree. It's part of the game. Getting to the line is a skill, but that's not going to fare as well in the postseason. And it's just not as fun to watch. We're an ethical team with ethical hoopers. Just ask Noni. She doesn't want to watch a bunch of guys at the foul line all night.
I thought I heard her scrabbling around.
I think that's one of the easier ones.
For sure. Okay. Do you think it's easy, though, when he's compared to Anthony Edwards?
Yes. No, I do think that's a tougher comparison, just because Ant is young, electric. He's like shooting over 40% from three. He's a pretty dogged defender.
Can be.
But I actually think he definitely leads by example, but I don't know. I think above all, I think Ant plays for Ant. And I'm not even saying he's like selfish or anything, but he's even talked about it. And I actually appreciate how candid he is when he talks about this stuff, about how like, hey, I'm, 23 years old. I'm not trying to pass 23, 24. I'm not trying to pass the ball a whole bunch. Like I thought that game against the Pistons was really indicative. Like, even though that wasn't their best look, like the T-Wolves have looked a lot better. And I forget if they had Dante back then, but
they did.
Okay. So he put up 40 something points.
Mm-hmm. I think he put up 50.
And,
did he?
50.
I think he had a 50
still
burger.
50 piece.
Because Cade had 42, I think, in that game.
Right. And still got the L. Yeah, no, I don't think Ant makes his team better like Cade does. And, granted, Cade's a point guard and Ant is a two guard. I also don't think his defense is that much better.
I don't know if it is at all. I just think he's a more athletic player. But, like, the people are really hyping up that block he had against Oklahoma City, and it was a great block. It was a huge, clutch, game-saving block. Guess what? Cade has had 4 of those this season. It's already been happening for him.
Yeah. I just think there's something about aesthetics. Like, people love players that are just, like, exciting. Like those Shaedon Sharp dunks. Mm-hmm. Like, he's incredible. Just a wild leaper, good instincts. Like, not saying he's a bad player, but he's not. That doesn't make him great.
Right.
It's a skill. But and I think sometimes, like, some of the reason that the national media and fans have been a little slow to come around to Cade is because it's not always these, like, electrifying highlight moments. Like, he's grinding out wins.
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing is like, I'm going to come around 2 or 3 screens and like break down the defense and manipulate people with my eyes. Like, it's more nuanced. And I think for a more casual fan, it might not be as fun to watch, or is it like Instagrammable. Granted, that's changing. He's throwing dimes off the glass to Ausar and just doing all sorts of crazy
switch
shit
hand
now.
Dunks. But
compared to a guy like Ant, it just looks a little different, but I still think Cade's better.
I agree. We were at the game yesterday with my dad, and when Cade scored, Cade had this drive, and my dad goes, "Oh, that's just like too easy." And I was like, "He makes it that easy. That's how good he is. Is that it doesn't even look like the other team is trying because he is so smooth like that."
Smooth is the word. And speaking of smooth, Chris Paul, I think like a year or two ago, was talking about how Cade's game is so smooth. And when you've got CP3 saying that your player's game is smooth, you might know what he's talking about. But speaking of aesthetics and just electrifying gameplay, let's bring it back to another point guard. Do you think Cade is better than Ja Morant?
Yeah, I do. Again, the defense, the assists, the playmaking, the vision, the rebounding, the size. If you were to ask me who is a better dunker, it's Ja Morant. If you were to ask me, like, who has more highlights over his career, it's Ja Morant. If you were to ask me who would you want to be the centerpiece for your team, it is Cade Cunningham, and it is not even close. Like, I've got no controversy about Cade whatsoever. I don't even think like the controversy surrounding like Ja is that big a deal, but it sure like made a big stink. Like that's a lot of national media coverage around that, had a lot of negative attention. The negative attention around Cade was, can this guy win games? Guess what? He can. He is the man. He is your leader. He is the dude.
Yeah. Turns out he can. Showing it in a major way.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. I want to get more,
Yeah,
but
let's
how
keep
about
moving.
this one? Do you think Cade Cunningham is better than Hookah Doncic?
This is really hard. I think Luka's unbelievable and just like does all sorts of insane shit. It's really hard just because too, I think, not a hot take, Luka's one of the greatest postseason players of his generation, and he's 25.
Straight Claude Lemieux.
Say
I
again?
said straight Claude Lemieux for all the 90s hockey fans out there. One of the greatest post players of all time. Him and Sergei Fedorov. But I said Claude Lemieux because Sergei's the Detroit guy.
Yeah. I think the defense makes the difference here. And I think my hope, too, is that just this whole season and Cade's whole career of just getting doubled, because that's a pretty good strategy against the Detroit Pistons for the past, since Cade's been on the team, is just double Cade and you'll shut them down. I'm hoping that what happened to Luka against Jaylen Brown won't happen to Cade because, A, Cade's in better shape, he's a better defender, and he's seen it all. So, I don't think he quite has that crazy, 40-foot 3-point dagger to ice the game magic that Luka's got, but I still would rather build my team around Cade right now. Get at me in the comments. I understand that's controversial. I'm going to say it.
Hot take.
I'm going to skip this next one, Harry, because I'm not totally sure what it is.
Where did I write in there for it?
Cap.
Cap Am? Oh, no. I'm going to put it up anyway. I'll ask you then.
Okay.
Do you think he's better than Captain America?
Yeah, I got to give it to him. That's what I thought you meant. I just wasn't totally sure. Yeah, I do. Because the thing about Captain America is he needs his toys. He needs his things. And sometimes Cade plays with a sleeve, or something. But really, he's doing it all on his own. No toys. And he doesn't have to get political. He doesn't have to make it about patriotism. He's just out there hooping for hoop's sake. And I like that about him. I like that it's basketball and not low-key propaganda.
Make Cade Captain America of the NBA. He's the face of the NBA. Make him that.
They
That's what I
really
want.
should. They really should.
All right, so he's better than Captain America.
Better than Captain America, but we'll switch it up a little bit. Is he better than Spider-Man?
Yeah. He's better than Spider-Man. I know Spider-Man's got the sticky fingers and the strength, and he's super smart.
Yeah, he could probably get a good amount of stocks.
He would, for real. He's got that sixth sense. He's got that Spidey sense going on.
Yeah.
He's got the leaps.
Oh yeah.
But Spider-Man, he was kind of the leader of his amazing friends. He's like part of the Avengers, kind of, and he is just a kid. Cade's got the confidence. Cade has the experience of losing. I know Peter Parker has also lost his uncle and all that, and whatever happened to his parents and all that. But yeah, I think Cade has better street smarts, ball smarts, even though Spider-Man's got some great book smarts, wall smarts.
Yeah, good photographer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great photographer. He should be taking pictures on the sidelines, getting some great
Really
photos.
should get some
photos
good
for the
shots.
gram, baby. Okay, in that same universe, do you think Cade's better than Doc Ock? He definitely got a better haircut.
Yeah, this is tough though, because what you love about Doc Ock, in addition to having that dog in him, he's got that fire in him. Like you could go as far as to call him evil on the court. He's also got two-way ability. With those arms, he's dishing out dimes, but he's also just grabbing balls out of the air, swatting them into the third row. But I don't think he's got Cade's IQ. Or he's got IQ, but he doesn't have Cade's basketball IQ.
Yeah,
He's a doctor at science and genetics and energy. Cade is a doctor at hooping.
Mm-hmm.
And no knock to Doc Ock, but I'm sticking with Cade, baby.
He's probably getting more fouls with those metal arms anyway. That's my guess.
Yeah, Stripes is going to call that every time. So speaking of doctors, we're gonna switch things up a little bit, switch up our comic book universes. I don't know who watches the Watchmen, but I watch the Pistons. Do you think Cade is better than Dr. Manhattan?
I thought Cade was Dr. Manhattan based on his last couple performances at Madison Square Garden.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So yeah, I think he's better than Mr. Bald Big Blue. We're gonna speed this up a little bit more. Mickey, do you think he's better than Indiana Jones?
I do, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because people knock Cade for being turnover prone, but I feel like every time I'm watching Indiana Jones, he gets the idol or the thing, and then he turns it over. He gives it up. Sometimes he's got a gun to his head, but if you're gonna knock Cade for turnovers, you got to knock Indy for him too. And I think Cade's got better athleticism as well. Indy's getting a little up there.
I completely agree, and I also have to say, like, when you see some of Cade Cunningham's highlights from the season, those belong in a museum.
That's a whip. That's a whip right there. All right, you want to move along?
Let's go along.
What about let's go, because I think Cade's got some force to him, but is he better than Darth Vader?
Oh man, oh, that's so tough to say. Is he better than Darth Vader? Well, I think I think that both Trae Young and Jalen Brunson are better than Luke Skywalker, and Cade is their father. So yeah, I think Cade is better than Darth Vader. He's got me breathing heavy. He's got the stare, and
me too.
Oh my God, he's my guy. I'll take Cade over Darth any day. Darth Cade. All right. What about? Do you think he's better than Gandalf the White?
I do, and I'll tell you why. In Gandalf's day, he was playing against hobbits. He was playing against trolls. He was playing against plumbers. Cade is up against the top tier talent in the league, and I think he's really showing that he's got his own brand of magic that rivals that of a wizard. Personally, let's move right along.
Before we move on, I want to say, like,
sorry,
if they were facing off head to head, Gandalf could be like, "You shall not pass," and Cade would still throw the lob to Durin, slam him on the bridge.
Yes, I shall pass. I didn't mean to step on that. That was great.
No, you didn't at all. It was great.
All right. Cade's aggressive. He's definitely an alpha. But is he better than the Predator?
Oh man, I'll tell you what.
Matchup.
It is a tough matchup. I think Cade's got, even though Predator's got like that heat-seeking vision, I think Cade has that too. So that's in his wheelhouse. He definitely looks better, I would say. And you know what? I'm gonna say not 100% of the time, but usually, and especially when he's Braid Cunningham, he is definitely better than Predator.
Braid Cunningham is special.
Braid Cunningham was something else. We'll show some of those highlights from the Indiana game. Sorry, Predator, you're dead. All right, Mickey, I got one last one for you. Cade has been just an absolute beast all season. He's always been a beast. You got to tell me, though, do you think Cade is better than the Raptor from Jurassic Park?
Ooh. Because they got talons and they're super quick. Like, they might even be a little twitchier than Cade. But again, I think this one comes down to IQ. I think Cade, a Raptor's going to be focused on just that meat. And Cade's he's gonna see the whole floor. He's gonna know what to do. And also, I think this is a situation where his vegan diet is gonna lead to better longevity in the long term. Like Raptor, they have health issues. They're not really made for this era. Cade, to me, completely embodies this era.
100%.
He's not. His game is not prehistoric. It's right the fuck now. Okay, so. Cade over the Raptor from Jurassic. I also think he's a little more terrifying downhill with a head full of steam.
100%. In a Raptor would be playing against Cade Cunningham, and you just hear, which of course in Raptor means clever girl. because he's got those smarts. All right, so
Yeah.
what a fun segment that
So fun.
was.
I think Corbin liked it.
I hope so. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow. We're trying to get to more subscribers on YouTube than Malik Beasley hits 3-pointers this year by the end of the year, and it's proven to be harder and harder every day, but we can do it with your help. Beasley doesn't have your help. He's got your energy. He's got your support. We need your support here too, so if you can give us a like, we'd really appreciate it. So just smash that like button harder than we were smashing a lot of these players in the Cade Cunningham comparisons.
It's pretty hard.
We're really appreciative of having you on here. We're on Substack. Check out our stuff on Substack. Check out our stuff on TikTok.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. It's fun on that. We've got instant game reactions now. We're trying to pump up some. We want to hear some of your fan prophecies. We got our own prophecy, but we want to hear some of your fan prophecies. So thank you for being there. Hit us on the comments on Apple Pods and on Spotify too. All that crud, you know.
Please.
And we always end the show the same way, and it's by saying the acronym for Order of the Blazing Horse, the way a horse would, because that's the way a horse sounds. So, Mickey, thank you so much for being here. I am Harry. Thank you so much for
and
being
happy
here.
birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. And happy birthday, Corbett. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
And let's get them nugs tomorrow, son. So, as always...